Example number 2. While true, players equals to input of enter player's name. If players equals to or, then pass a break statement. Print of players and then also pass another print function which is print of the end. When you run it, you will get the very first line which is enter player's name. Just simply enter any name of the player. Type Messi and then press the enter button. Messi will be printed here. And then again press the enter button. Again the input line will come which is enter player's name. Enter any player name like Fabregas. Press the enter button, Fabregas will be printed here. Again press the enter button. When press the enter button, one more time the input line will come where it shows enter player's name. If you type or here and then press the enter button, the loop will execute. The loop will take a break and it will show the last message which is the end. So we can give a break to the while loop by using the break statements even if the while loop is true all the time. Look at here, while true. While true means that the while loop is true all the time. It will execute multiple times. No matter how many names you pass, it will execute again and again and again, because this initial statement shows that while loop is true all the time. It means that it will go all the time. Whenever you put the name and press enter button, it will again execute again and again and again. Like here, for example, when you press enter button here, enter player's name. And again when you pass another player name, it will execute one more time. So it will execute all the time when you pass any name. Because it is true all the time. Now players is just the variable name. It is just the variable names. You can put X, you can put Y, you can put a game, anything you can put. But make sure if you have players here, you have to put players here and also players here. So players equals to input of enter player's name. This is the very first line. This is the input line. We have used input function. Instead of passing the print function, we directly put the input function. So input function works exactly like a print function. So input function works for the print function at this stage. This is the very first line. Then we pass the statement, the conditional statement. The conditional statement which is if players equals to or. If you pass or instead of any player name or and then colons, the loop will take break because we have break statement. We pass break statement here. The moment when we type or and then press the enter button, the loop will take break. Even the loop is true all the time, as we know. The loop is true all the time, but when we pass the break statement, it is the power of the break statement. When you pass it, it will stop the execution of the while loop, even if it is true. So the loop will stop here. Now what is this print function? This is another extra print function. If you want to put, you can put it, otherwise you can ignore it. After pressing the enter button, Messi will be written here one more time because of this print function. This is because of this print function. Fabregas is also because of this print function. And also there is one ending message, the last message. This is a print function which doesn't care about the rest of the above part. It will be printed in the end. It is the ending line. It is the last line, which is the end. Whatever thing you write here inside the quotes, it will be printed in the output. This is the last message. It comes under global scope. This print function comes under local scope. We already know that what is local scope and what is global scope. If you don't know yet, just go back and check the global and local scope section. Let me repeat it again. Look, initially while loop is true. While true means that while loop is true all the time. It is true all the time. And then we give the name players to the variable. We use input function instead of print function. Input of enter player's name. This is the very first line. And then we pass the conditional statement, which if players equals to or, when we type or here, the loop will break. Because of this break statement, we pass the break statement here. We have one more print function, print of players, Messi. So when you run it, the very initial line will be this enter player's name. I have a space here. Why? because of this space, we have a space before the last double quotes. If you put a space here, you will get a space all the way in the output. So when I typed Messi and then press the enter button, Messi will come here again because of this print function. This message, this output is because of this print function. If you ignore it, if you remove this print function, you won't see this new line. It is up to you, you can remove it. Then when I press the enter button, the while loop will execute one more time. So when you press the enter button, it will execute one more time. It will start from the start. So the starting message will show again here, which is enter player's name. This time I typed Fabregas. When you press the enter button, again the Fabregas will come here because of this print function. As I told you, if you ignore this print function, if you remove this, you won't show this message again. You won't show the Fabregas name again. Now, when you press the enter button, while loop will execute one more time. It will start again and will show the starting message, which is enter player's name. But look, I type over here this time. When I press the enter button, the while loop terminated. Because of this break statement, we have a break. The condition says that the moment when you type players equals to or, the break will come to the while loop. So even the while loop is true all the times. Look, this while true means that if you put another player name, the while loop will execute one more time, and then put another player name, it will execute one more time. So it will execute all the time the moment when you type any player name. But as you type over here, according to this condition, as you type or, a break will come to this while loop. So the while loop will break. It will stop the while loop. This break statement will stop the while loop right at or, and it will show the last message, which is the end. This last message is because of this print function. It is independent. This print function, the last print function, doesn't care about the above body of the program. It is independent. It is the outermost print function. We know that it comes under global scope. This print function comes under local scope. So there was another example of the break statement. So I hope you got the idea now that how break statement works.